Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Mafia Report, live Monday through Friday at around 10:15ish a.m. EST. As long as you have your bell notifications turned on, it shouldn't matter. But I'll tell you what, I'm excited to unpack today's episode because I kind of wanted to focus it more on the Q&A side of things. I have a main topic that I would like to discuss. Obviously, I think that Joe Brady has not been utilizing Elijah Moore and Curtis Samuel to their full extent, especially with how much they're getting paid. I mean, good God. So between the $27 million in total that Curtis is getting paid, same thing with Elijah Moore, I think that it's a necessity that Joe Brady starts leveraging them in scenarios that can get the most out of their skill set. They're both wildly fast, 4.2, 4.3. And I guarantee you that I will make you a believer in this. I can't guarantee that the production will be there, but based off of their skill set alone, I think Joe Brady really hasn't been utilizing them to their strengths. So I'm excited to dive into that. As you're coming in, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up sign. It's the easiest way to show love over here. We want to continue to build this family. We want to make sure that this live chat at one point is going to have 5,000 plus happy family members ready to talk Buffalo Bills and NFL football each and every single day. So hit that thumbs up sign. That's everyone carrying their weight. And more importantly, hit that thumbs up. More importantly, let me know where you're tuning in from. What corner of the globe are you tapping in from? Roll call time in the chat. Where are you tuning in from? I need to give a giant shout out to our good friends over on Sleeper. Folks, signing up, you get a free $20. This is the best promo in the game when it comes into crafting your parlays. I'm sure you guys are familiar on how to create a parlay. 2 to 5. 2 to 5 players accurately predict what their projections are going to be, and you could be a winner of up to 1,000x. Not only are you getting that $20 for signing up, you're also getting a 100% deposit match. So shout out to Sleeper for being a proud partner of the show. I sincerely appreciate them. All right, man, let's get into it. Where's everyone tuning in from? Talk to me, everybody. Talk to me. Let me go. Dan, can we have a fun Friday this morning? A fun Friday is happening on this show. Always, my friend. And do you think we actually have a wide receiver need or a scheming issue? Scheming. It's definitely a deep question. And we're going to get into it once we start unpacking a little bit of Curtis Samuel. And we're going to start getting a little bit of Elijah Moore. 100% ready to go. All right, man, let's go. We have New York is in the building. Diana, what's up? Did you hit the thumbs up? Chiming in from Kentucky. Go Bills. Diana, happy Friday to you. I hope all is well. Let's see. I think it's a scheme issue for sure. We aren't utility guys to the best of our abilities. Atlanta is in the building. Calling it now. Elijah Moore will have a breakout game. 5 receptions, 80 to 100 yards, and a touchdown. I love that, man. 50,000 Bills fans. You deserve it, bub. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Arkansas, go Bills. Connecticut is in the building. Syracuse is in the building. Indiana, Salem, Virginia. Vegas, shout out to Mike Green in the building. North Bay Village, Florida. Hey, Dan, happy Friday. Chesapeake checking in. Rose, I hope all is well. Texas Forever Street. Right behind Bob. No, you are not. Who's standing by Dan? That is Bob, my friend. That is Bob. Gowanda, New York. Fort Worth, Texas is in the building. Scheme issues, San Antonio, Texas. Montour Falls, New York. Toronto, Ontario, Virginia. Man, Bills Mafia is truly worldwide. It's crazy. I mean, half of the time when I have conversations with people, sometimes we get like New Zealand in the chat. We get Sweden very often. I think one time we got South Africa. So it's crazy how many hearts the Buffalo Bills have captured and throughout the past couple of seasons. However, like I said, I did kind of want to get into a Q&A, but the main topic, and hopefully I can make you guys believers on this one, which I find to be pretty interesting. Let me go ahead and find my visual so we can talk about it here. And I think you're going to like this. No, it's not that. There you go. Right here. All right. Right before I show my screen to you, right? Out of all of the wide receivers we have on this team, How many of them, or excuse me, what wide receiver is leading in vertical routes? Who is the guy that is leading in vertical routes? If you had to guess, who is the number one receiver that has been asked to run the most go routes so far this season? I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to guess. Go on ahead and let me know. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You were correct. It should be Palmer, Jack is saying. Well, let me tell you what, my friend. It's Keon Coleman. 40 go routes my friend has been asked to run. Okay? Now, look, schematically, that is called a clear out. Okay? What you're trying to do is you are trying to take an additional defender out of coverage so you can attack underneath. We saw several scenarios where Keon goes on this clear out, and then Dalton Kincaid, boom, is wide open in the middle of the field. So it's basically a decoy route. So he's not often targeted in these situations. But when you hear people say that, all right, we want to make some of these defenders bite, and when you hear people suggest that this offense is relatively predictable, I think that plays into the fact that we should agree with that, right? Because who on earth is going to assume that Keon is going to win on a go route? From a defensive coordinator's perspective, who is going to believe that he is going to win 9 times out of 10? Especially with his contested catch success rate throughout the past couple of weeks and even into 2024. He's the slowest guy on our roster. He runs a 4.6, and he is the one guy that is asked to stretch the field vertically for us. Followed by that, we have Khalil Shakir, who has ran 22. Josh Palmer has run 18. He's not the fastest guy either. He runs like a 4.5, I think. But Elijah Moore and Curtis Samuel specifically have only been asked to run 19 and 8 go routes all season. In my opinion, right? I love that Keon is being used for the clear out. But a clear out, basically look at that as a decoy. Like have the one corner that is assigned to him in specific zone situations or man coverage, and you're hoping that the safety ends up biting and also going to cover Keon so you can leave something wide open right in the middle of the field. I think eventually that defensive coordinators are going to be like, yeah, we're just going to leave our safety right underneath. And so we're going to trust our corner to run stride for stride with Keon Coleman and say that Keon beats us in a contested catch situation, then let it be, because he's not very good in contested catch situations in the first place. That's what concerns me, right? I would really like if Joe Brady started utilizing Curtis Samuel and Elijah Moore in those specific scenarios lined up outside. A lot of us have said, oh, well, maybe Joe Brady is just familiar with their skill set. Not particularly the case. So my buddy Kevin ended up pointing this out last night on the Bills Roundtable, which I think is actually pretty intriguing here. This might be a Josh Allen preference. Because when Gabe Davis was on this team, he led the team in go routes by a significant margin. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe this goes back into the theory that we have been discussing that Josh has never really been a good go ball type quarterback. And it's not a bad thing. But for some odd reason, you need to point to this is what Josh wants. It's not what Joe Brady wants. This is what Josh feels most comfortable with, is having a big and lumbering wide receiver running these clear outs so that he could hit everything underneath. And that's how he wants to operate his overall pass attack. So as far as speed on the outside, as far as speed on the perimeter, we have that. And don't give me the whole, like he doesn't have the skill set. I'm sorry, but like when Keon Coleman has run the vast majority of them already so far this season, how do we really know? How do we really know that Elijah Moore could at least be our clear out guy? where safeties are for sure going to bite on it because he's going to create separation downfield. He's fast as hell. He runs a 4.3. Same thing with Curtis Samuel. I know that he can't stay healthy, but we're talking about skill set here. If you were to ask me, I think Elijah Moore and Curtis Samuel, I would very much be entertained if I could see that shift toward the back half of the season. Throw them as the X receiver a couple of times, right? On obvious passing downs. I would like to see it because we don't truly know if they can be the guy for us for that speed vertically down the field, if you will. Although that I still don't trust Josh with deep balls. I think that it's worth it. And so I think that it's worth it. Based off of the couple of pieces of film I have seen where Curtis Samuel lined up as the X, I thought that he looked pretty good at that responsibility. That's what's going to have to happen if you are going to ask me. All right, guys. As you know, I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to shift over into a Q&A segment on this show. I think Fridays from now on is just going to be a Q&A. So as many of you know, in order for me to accurately decipher between a question and or a statement, please label them appropriately. For every question, begin with a Q. For every statement, begin with an S. If I do not see either of those, I'm probably going to pass by it or I could miss it. So make sure it is labeled appropriately. Let's get it in. Dan, the effing man, what is up? Brady has to start resetting the playbook and get these guys open to their skill set. He's wasting their talent. Damn, man. It's not so much that, right? It's not so much that. So I think a lot of it has to do with Josh Allen's preferences. And so I think that Josh doesn't particularly like throwing the deep ball either. And when you look at the deep ball part of an offense, it's such a small part of a quality offense. It's such a small part. But I'm saying you can look at it schematically by actually having somebody with some sort of speed running the clear out rather than somebody that is not, right? So I want to see some nuances. I don't want to see Curtis Samuel being an out route guy or a flat like type wide receiver, especially for how much money he's getting paid. I know that we can give him the benefit of the doubt last year with the turf toe, but now like be ballsy. So be ballsy with what you ask him to do. And so with Elijah Moore and Curtis Samuel have been nothing but gadget guys, like two gadget guys for this offense. I would much rather see them utilize and expand their route tree a bit more. That's me. And maybe that was according to the plan all along. Maybe that's what they did. Maybe after Brandon Beane left this trade deadline and he was unable to bring in somebody, maybe that's what the coaching staff is doing now, saying, hey, you know what? Like maybe it's time for us to start utilizing some of our speed guys in different roles. Ask them to do a bit more now that they're more comfortable with this offense. That could be it. Obi-Wan is in the building. Dan, just look at the tape, man. Keon is open on so many occasions. He's also drawing a lot of double teams and holding flags. I think you have to have hope for him. And so I watch tape every day. With his separation is better than people want to admit. But again, you also need to realize when you look at separation, you also need to consider what does pre-snap look like. Say, for example, that Keon Coleman is lining up and the cornerback is running off coverage and he's 7 to 8 yards off of the line of scrimmage, in the first place. Of course, a guy is going to have crazy separation. Like you look at almost every single slot receiver in the NFL, most of the time you're not seeing a lot of press man coverage on slot receivers. That's why their separation scores are always toward the top 10, particularly on the outside. So compared to the outside. So he's not going to be able to create consistent. His separation is going to be needed to be established very soon after snap. That's kind of where I'm at. Dan, off topic, but I really want to know what the PFF numbers were for Cole Bishop and Max Harrison, please. I know that Bishop was at about a 92.4 as far as PFF. And then I want to say Max Harrison was like 86. 2 out of the 3 highest players on the field. And Hoyt was playing well too. RIP. RIP for that. For me, like, so I'm not really much of a PFF guy anymore. And so I've kind of like shied away from PFF grades because I sort of don't trust them, right? Way more of an EPA guy now, way more of a DVOA and an EPA guy. And so I've grown a little bit, if you will. Dan, if you were a betting man, would you say the Bills have a chance to win on Sunday? So I feel like the question is, do the Bills win by 10 points? That's like the ballsier like answer. And yes, I do. I do think that Buffalo wins in a landslide. A super small part of the offense. I agree, man. I love it. Question, is Gabe going to be playing in this game? Tor 716. So I don't know. Like, based off of what we heard from McDermott on Wednesday, he said that he is progressing in the right direction and he can't commit on when we will see him. But it sounds like we are definitely going to. The question is not if, it's when. I feel like media has been showing quite a bit of videos of him practicing. And so I wouldn't be shocked to say that he was elevated this weekend. Dan, and do you think Landon could be a difference maker? Landon Jackson. So if you're asking me now, no. And so I really don't think that he's going to be adding much value to this defensive line. And based off of what we've heard from Sean McDermott, it doesn't sound like he believes that either. He was asked on Wednesday of an update on the development of Landon Jackson going into year one. And he was basically saying or hinting to the fact that he is really behind schedule as far as his development of where McDermott wanted him to be. So if AJ Epinesa, I didn't even see if he was limited yesterday on the injury report. Say that he can't go, then Landon Jackson is going to have to be active for the game, and he's just going to have to be thrown into the Wolves. So he's definitely behind schedule, but we will see what's going on. Steven Bryant is coming in. What's going on with Shavers? I mean, I don't know, dude, right? So with Shavers, like, here's the deal. I really don't think that, like, he should have made the roster in the first place. And so, to be honest with you, and, like, that's, like, a really hard pill to swallow. I sort of feel like that the front office and the coaching staff was almost pressured by the public to add him to the roster. And, yeah, he's out there in, like, particular situations, but it's pretty clear that him and Josh don't have a lot of trust and or chemistry. I mean, he made a good play last year, like back when we were playing like backups, I think, at one point. And I'm pretty sure that that was like a screenplay, something that Buffalo or fans hate, and that he was able to run and take to the house. I think that he's a decoy, like, mostly. And perhaps it's unfair for me to like label him as that since I really haven't seen him targeted in action, but say that you're not getting targets from QB1, then that probably should tell you something, especially in specific games, especially during that 2-game losing streak. And so if you're telling me that like dude is not like being targeted when like nothing is working, then I think that kind of tells you a story. But with me, so I think Shavers just like had a great training camp and a fantastic preseason that with his coaching staff couldn't not add him to the 53-man roster. Do not be surprised if Gabe Davis does get elevated or brought up to the 53-man roster, or like he needs to be signed to the 53-man roster at any point. Shavers is going to be the odd man out, more than likely. And he would be cut and then brought back to the practice squad, if you were to ask me. If Dable gets fired, do we bring him back because Brady most likely will be moving on? No. I would not want Dable. I would want so I'd want Probably Kevin Stefanski from Cleveland say that he gets fired, or Mike McDaniel from Miami, surprisingly enough. And so I'd be thrilled with either of those two. I would pass on Brian Daboll. Josh is doing what Aaron Rodgers did to win multiple MVPs. He's going for completions, then deep balls. He's going for completions, not deep balls. Absolutely. I'm not particularly into the whole deep ball situation. What is your outlook for the defensive line for the rest of the year? Can the interior generate the pressure needed to stop the run effectively? It's a great question. So the problem with the run for Buffalo, in my opinion, for the first 6 weeks of the season was not even particularly play calling. Maybe you could say that Babbich's play calling played a role into it. But the big issue with Buffalo and the run defense, quote unquote, was explosive runs. Weeks 1 through 6, the Buffalo Bills allowed 34 explosive runs. That's a significant amount, right? It's about 5 per game. Weeks 8 through 9 after the bye, the Buffalo Bills ultimately ended up only allowing 2 explosive runs. In the beginning of the season, I put out a tweet, and people don't like advanced analytics, so they said, oh, like this is crazy. I said that if you were to take away the explosive runs, or if you were to take away the 3 explosive runs that we got from Derrick Henry twice and Bijan Robinson against Atlanta, the Buffalo Bills run defense for the most part was doing their job and only holding running backs to about 2.5 yards per carry. That was excluding explosive runs because we're looking at a per drive basis, right? It doesn't matter what kind of quarterback you are. It doesn't matter what kind of like running back you are or any player out on the field. You need to look at performances based off of a per drive basis, because sometimes, like, you see the best quarterback in the world have a terrible drive. Sometimes you see the worst possible running back in the NFL have a great drive. So that's why I never really freaked out about the run defense in general. My problem was tackling. And I said, look, like, we need to clean up tackling. And one of the biggest contributors to our run defense woes and our tackling woes was Taylor Rapp. And I'm glad that he is going through his recovery. I'm glad he's resting up. I'm thankful for everything he's done for this team. But damn, he was a liability. The second you put Jordan Poyer out on the field, the second Jordan Hancock starts getting his reps, the second that Maxwell Harrison was healthy again, who are both willing tacklers, although that they are rookies, boom, all of a sudden for the past 2 weeks, we only allow 2 explosive runs. And people can come out and say, oh, Dan, like we played the Panthers. First off, that was a top 3 rushing attack all season long, even when Hubbard was RB1. Okay, so I don't want to hear any excuses there. And as far as the Kansas City Chiefs, that's a good running offense. And they're like, oh, yeah, of course you didn't get any explosive runs against Kansas City, Dan, because Pacheco is out. Like, you were seeing Patrick Mahomes bust off bare minimum 40 yards a carry per game. Like, he was their second leading rusher, and we held him to about 4 to 5. So that tells you that tackling and run defense has improved. So tackling was the issue. As far as defensive line, as far as pressure, like, we only had Ed Oliver for 2 games this season, and we only had Michael Hoyt for about 1 game and a half. And Buffalo, without them, was still top 3 in pressure percentage. Right now, with Joey Bosa, leads the league in pressure percentage. He's 7th in total pressures already this year. Greg Rousseau is 12th in pressure. He's 7th in pressure percentage and 12th in pressures. So our edge rushers are eating. With Deion Walker has been playing well, hopefully with Daquan Jones. So as long as we can avoid further injuries down the road, I feel like our defensive line should be a non-issue. Dan, and do you think in the offseason the Bills will fire Bobby and make Sean McDermott the defensive coordinator? So I think you mean make him the defensive play caller. So I don't think that he likes to do this. I feel like he would much rather be a head coach and a head coach only. This is now his 2nd time as tenure in Buffalo for being a defensive coordinator. I don't know what's going to happen to Bobby Babich. Maybe he gets the Leslie Frazier treatment where he's taking a break from football for about a year and then he's never hired back. That could be a world where that happens. And then maybe this time Sean McDermott brings in a veteran defensive coordinator rather, right, than bringing somebody up. I don't know. It's tough to say. And there are a lot of things that I think that we might not even see. Hi, Dan. Why can't Brady hide coverage if he's going to be predictable? Why can't Brady hide coverage if he's going to be predictable? Why can't Brady hide coverage if he's going to be? So I want you to do me a favor and rephrase that question. Why does the offense not disguise the plays? I can tell you when they will run or pass the ball, so I know the defense can tell. So a lot of the times we have significant personnel mismatches, right? So a lot of the times with how many heavy fronts we roll out there, with what Brady is probably thinking, he's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to tell you that we're running the football here, but guess what? So with our offensive line is going to overpower your front seven, and James Cook is still going to run 6 yards. So I think that he just has a lot of confidence with our personnel mismatches when we're going up against specific defenses. He did really good at disguising versus Kansas City because you need to do it versus Kansas City. But I think with lesser competition, he's just getting super confident with our mismatches as far as physicality is concerned. And we have a great offensive line. Like, I don't want to be arrogant to a T where I'm saying that our offensive line is just better than everybody else or then better than every single defensive front that we could potentially see this season. But, I mean, damn. We are number one in run blocking schemes. And we are bullying defenses out there. It's crazy, especially with Jackson Hawes. Like, we can afford to tell people what we want to do in the run game, and they just know, right? Say that you have like more high quality defenses. I think you're going to see Joe Brady go out there and be a bit more. And so because our run is unstoppable. Yeah. Like that's basically what I think it is. Do we sit Cook if he is not 100%? No. Mm-mm. Say that we had like a 4-game lead on the AFC East for sure, but like we can't take any chances. So we need to go out ahead and we need to beat the Miami Dolphins. We need to go into this game and play it like super seriously. And what I would also like would be for this team to go on ahead and take care of it like soon, right? Like drain the clock, like have like a run first approach, chew ass clock and get out of there as fast as humanly possible. And so have a couple of turnovers here and there and just make this game go away, right? It's supposed to be like 88 degrees, I think, too, and sunny. Just filtered all 22 film for explosive runs given up with Deion Walker on the field for 0 of these runs. We'll be verifying this today. Telling stat. Hey, dude, he's a big body. He's been doing his thing. That's for sure. Rynell. And honestly, even Mike McCarthy was a great offensive mind. Yeah, well, I mean, him too. So do you think McDermott is done with Babich? I kind of feel like Sean's giving him a chance to try and catch on. It's tough to say. It is really hard to say. So you look back at Leslie Frazier, right? Like he probably had a couple of chances. I don't know if Sean is willing to give Babich the benefit of the doubt. And because Ken Dorsey really didn't last that long, right? So it was Babich last year, and like Babich had about like a year and a half this year. So I wouldn't be surprised if Babich is gone. I think that's my thought process. Dan, what's up? Garrett, what's going on, man? Hope all is well with you. Statement from St. Cloud, Florida. And despite all the whiny, in quotations, Bills fans who think Bean betrayed the Bills, the world did not end. Buffalo whooped Kansas City, and they go on to greatness. Go Bills. Wow. What are the odds that the things we are complaining about, running backs not involved in the passing game, outside receivers not being used, and what the Bills are holding back for the big games? So I think that's a quality. So I think that's a quality take, right? So as far as outside receivers, like we've never really seen this, like from this team, right? Like we've never really had anything, and like so the whole like so the whole obsession with separation, right, guys? So I feel like a lot of us have very short memories. Like years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, one of the biggest complaints we ever had on this team was that we couldn't create yards after the catch. Who remembers that, right? Who remembers that that was the biggest complaint that we had? We said, oh man, like we can't get Yak to save our lives. We had the separation with Stephon Diggs. Dude was creating plenty of separation. Problem is that we didn't create any Yak. That was the problem. Like we said, oh my God, we need Yak. And like now we have Yak. And now it's like, oh, it's separation, which separation really ain't all that bad. Like, so y'all are mad at Keon Coleman for his separation, but then some of you guys wanted like Myers. So Myers has worse separation than Keon Coleman. Like Myers is averaging 2.8 yards of separation, where Keon's at 2.9, right? We have Khalil Shakir. It's averaging like 3.4 yards per separation. That's top 10. So I never really understood like that thought process. Like, sure, like we're not creating it out on the outside, but I mean, who cares? Like, who cares, dude? Like, we are literally one of the best yards after catch team in the NFL as it stands. And when you ultimately end up looking at it, and oh my God, like some people, especially on X, man, dude, some of you on X and not people watching, obviously, but dude, some people on X are so miserable, bro. Like they get way too angry over football opinions. Oh my God. If you have ever found yourself getting angry over somebody else's football opinion, like good God, man, seek therapy. Love you, but seek therapy. I said something that is pretty eye-opening. Like we are all focused and enamored with separation, but then I ended up pulling up this. These are the top 10 teams for yak per attempts. What is the big indicator for you right now? Yak. Like yak, bro. Steelers, currently a playoff team. Lions, a playoff team. Green Bay, a playoff team. Bills, a playoff team. Bears, likely a playoff team. Buccaneers, playoff team. Chiefs, I feel like all of us agree. And so I agree that most of us agree that the Chiefs will be a playoff team. Seahawks, playoff team. Patriots, playoff team. 9 out of the top 10 teams have winning records for yak per attempts. But when it comes into separation, like four of the teams are currently a like playoff team, right? Like Bengals have crazy separation. How's that doing for them, right? Yak is, in my opinion, way more important than separation. Way more. And back when we had separation with Stephon Diggs and we had no yak, or we have all yak and no separation, which we have. That's how it is. Let me see. I think we have enough Brady, need to utilize Elijah Moore and Curtis Samuel and the tight ends more and run the ball. We will be all right. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm talking about. And do you think this season is going to be the greatest story told for the Bills? Of course. Statement. For me, it's not the separation. I just want good players. And so I feel like Keon, Shavers, and Samuel aren't even wide receiver 4s on other teams. And I'm worried if we lose Shakir and Kincaid. Yeah. No. Well, like, I mean, so that's a valid worry. Let's hope for the best. Do you think the Chiefs do miss the playoffs, that anyone's going to be able to stop the Bills and Josh? Well, so the only thing that has been able to stop us in the playoffs has been the Chiefs. So I'd be feeling a lot better going into the playoffs. What happens if Miami is actually able to pull off a big upset? Then we could probably kiss the division goodbye. right? Say that Miami does lose, that would be 2 division games lost. And while Tampa Bay would help us, say that they beat New England, like, so New England's undefeated in the division. So that's an additional tiebreaker. So say, for example, we split with New England down the road. Next, it goes into divisional record, and they would have that tiebreaker, not unless you trust the Dolphins or the Jets to pull off like some miracle against them. So these division games are very important. So, like, make no mistake about this. So this is not a game where we can go in sleeping. And so we have to win this game. So we cannot allow an inferior team, especially after they traded 30% of their pass rush away, to somehow like beat us. That's crazy. Oh my God. Rooting for Tampa Bay this Sunday. Bills fry the Fins. Bucks beat the Pats. Bills back at number 1 in the AFC East. Go Bills. And do you think the Bucks can pull this off? We'll see. We will see. Solid defense. Very good secondary. Unfortunately, Keon isn't targeted in those situations. I do believe he has at least 75% to win those contests. He's faster than a 4.6. Incorrect on the Walker explosive number. Bad filter. I love it. I have a feeling that the Jets are going to beat the New England Patriots. That would be insane. Broncos looked like dog poo last night. Yeah, I'm not bought in on Denver. I know that they're 8-2, but something smells fishy over there, man. Not a very good offense. Let Baker cook. Bake. Let Baker bake. Let's get a 47-10 game by the end of the third. That's what I'm hoping for. If the Bucks beat the Patriots, don't we become number 1 if we beat the Dolphins? Yes. We reclaim the AFC East. If we beat the Dolphins and the Patriots ultimately end up losing to Tampa Bay. And do you think Brady is saving some of the pass game for the playoffs like the Eagles did last year and learning more and leaning more into the run game? So we were a really well-balanced team last year. No, I think that this is just Joe Brady. And right now, I don't think that we're really in a position. And so I really don't think that we are in a position to hold anything back as we are playing from behind. Because I think that the 1 seed is still something that this organization wants to get, right? So I think our days of holding plays back are over, and that's even if we did it in the first place. No one feeling bad about where the Bills are. Go watch last night's game and see how bad that the Broncos looked. It'll make you feel better, and it's a great way to stay in shape. For sure, perspective is indeed important. Dan should be hired by the Bills for PR. Always an excuse for them. True Senate 6703. Dude, I'm going to need you to touch some grass, brother. Like, touch some grass, get some fresh air, dude. You know, and just be a happier person. Like, just be a happier person, man. People get wildly angry over sports opinions and sports takes. It's nuts. It's just crazy to me. New England remaining games equals Tampa Bay, New Jersey times 2. It's funny how I said New Jersey. Miami, Buffalo, Baltimore, New York Giants, and Cincinnati. Not many potential losses there. Bills, Ravens, and Buccaneers are it. Little margin for error. Absolutely. We have no other opportunity of getting it done than that. Who do you think will have the best game on the offense against the Dolphins? Who do I think will have the best game on the offense against the Dolphins? I'd go Dalton Kincaid. And so I go Dalton Kincaid. Lauren, I disagree. I don't believe it's what Josh wants. I'm pretty sure it's what Joe Brady and Sean McDermott want to do. So, Lauren, so the one thing that I would go back with is back when Gabe Davis was on this team, he was the one that dominated go routes too. And that was back when Dorsey was the guy, and that was back when Dable was the guy. Like, Gabe Davis was your go route guy. And that was with 3 different offensive coordinators. I don't know, but I feel like that evidence sort of supports it. That would Josh, for some reason, likes a big body guy with that overall responsibility. I think that's it. Do you think there's a good chance that we could win out for the rest of the season? Anything is possible. He said, LOL, just be a happier person. Dude, it's crazy, man. Dude, look, it's crazy. Dude, like people are so miserable. It's crazy. Question, do you think a healthy Palmer equals more explosive plays in the passing game? It's tough, right? So because we really didn't see him be implemented into this offense until Atlanta, and then he got hurt after his like second reception. Hopefully, like we brought him in for that reason alone. We will see. This year has so many upset through playing of cancers to lose also. This year has had so many upsets through playing up. Yeah. Cook, he's from South Florida. It will be a 2-touchdown game for Cook. I totally believe that. Palmer is a good route runner. He really is. Dan refuses to accept people's negative vibes and let their criticism affect his attitude. No sharing in others' misery. People need to get a life. Look, like, I love criticism. I'm fine with criticism. But, like, sometimes, like, I don't know. Sometimes, man, like, it's just the way that certain people go about it. Like, oh, it's over. Screw it. It's done. Or, Dan, like, you're an asshole for not agreeing with me on the specific football take. Like, bro, holy hell, man. Like, do something about yourself, bro. Like, log off for a little bit. Stop being so chronically online. Like, grab some fresh air and relax. I'm not the bad guy because I have a differing football opinion of you. Like, dude, some people are insane. It's mostly kids, though. It's mostly kids. So I get it, right? But especially on Twitter, dude. Dude, people are wild on Twitter. Like, people are wild on Twitter. Somebody, like, came up to me. Like, somebody commented, like, right on, like, my tweet and stuff along those lines and said, you're part of the reason why it's like this right now. I'm like, really, guy? Like, Dan Mitchell, so the guy that makes videos in his spare bedroom, right in his house, is the reason why Buffalo went through a 2-game skid. Come on, dude. Let's get it done. Dan is great. Johnny, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Criticizing is not the same skill, gloom and doom. Yeah. So there is a big difference. So between critiquing and doom and gloom. And so it is what it is. It is what it is. X is definitely a cesspool of negativity, and it can be exhausting. Like, most of the time, like, when, like, you, like, find people that have burner accounts on X and their complete existence, right? Like you go to their profile and, like, just look at the replies, and you only see, like, insults for everything, like, right, that they do. And so I want you to picture the smelliest kid that you knew in middle school that nobody talked to. And not because of his own, but, like, he was kind of an asshole too. Like, y'all, like, are. So y'all know who I'm talking about, right? Like, the smelly kid that was a loner, and, like, you tried to be nice to him, but, like, he would be an asshole to you. Like, when you were like, you know exactly who I'm talking about. That's that dude grown up. Like, that's that dude grown up. Like, when you find burner accounts on X and their entire existence is just, like, talking down to people. It's that smelly loser that was an absolute douchebag to people when they tried to be nice to him. That's that guy grown up each and every single time. Anyway, I hate when people come into the comments and talk about the Bills not being able to do something like winning a Super Bowl or winning a game, and yet they still watch the sport. That's exactly what I'm talking about. What's up, Dan? Hey, man, hanging out. Use the speed on the outside and let the big man in the center of the field. For sure. Say that you're going to run clear outs. Like, at least, like, make it believable. And so at least make it believable. You know what I mean? And those gloomy critics need to get their own Bob and take out the frustration on him. Great therapy right there. Bots are majority of the internet, for sure. For sure, man. It's the dark internet theory. So the criticizing is not the same as everything being gloom and doom. For sure, there is a key difference. Question and a statement. Ex-Bills content creators all seem to want to drag each other down. It's lots of jealousy, I think. Question, and where do you rank the Pats in the AFC? I still think that they are a paper tiger. So as far as the statement, so I don't read comments on X. And so I don't read comments on X. Sometimes I'll see some, like when I'm checking my notifications and it's one of the first ones that pops up. Maybe I'll reply to it here and there. But I don't engage with anything on X. What I do is so I just post and that's it. Sometimes say that a comment is on top of my notifications. Maybe sometimes I will reply, but say that somebody has something to say to me, then they better catch me at the grocery store, right? Or they better come on to this live stream and say what they have to say there, because I'm not hearing it, right? So I don't surround myself with negative people in real life. Why would I surround myself with negative people on the internet? It's just how it is. You are the result of the 5 people you hang around with the most, right? And that is something I always have believed in. So I'm not hearing it. And so I've seen so many people ruin their careers where they are so entangled with their online audience that sometimes they stop saying what they truly believe in order to please the masses. And that makes them like everybody else. So my advice to anybody that's trying to get into this world of sports commentary on the internet, don't read the comments, because eventually you are going to start getting swayed with what you think or how you think your audience is going to react. And that takes away your authenticity. And that makes you another drone. And that makes you somebody that is just going to be, and so, a wallflower of a million people trying to do this. So don't read comments. That's my biggest, sort of piece of advice. And then question, where do you rank the Pats in the AFC? I still think that they are paper tigers. I think that they are the 2019 Buffalo Bills with way better quarterback play. Super sticker from Cat Stumbo. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Go Bucks. Indeed, my friend. Catch him at the grocery store. At Whole Foods, fool. At Whole Foods, fool. Anyway. And as a Patriots fan, fans like Dan deserve a Super Bowl winning feeling this year for all the effort they put in for the Bills Mafia. Thanks, Dan, and the AFC's Roundtable crew for what you guys do each week. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I hope Kansas City Chiefs don't get to the Super Bowl final. I am sick. I hope that that's not the case either. Vander's in the building. What's up, dude? It's crazy how negative, spoiled, and entitled our fans are and lose their minds when the team went on a 2-game skid, and despite us being the class of the conference for the last 5 years. Well, so I think that they're growing tired and they're just super anxious that we're going to get bounced in the playoffs again. And that's fair, right? I guess there's a part of me that's kind of expecting that feeling to happen again, but I just encourage not to think that way. Just look at what is ahead of us, folks. Just look at the game ahead and don't worry about January until January is here. That is my, that's my thought process. Let me see. Buffalo Bills go to win on Sunday. Go kick Miami Dolphins ass on Sunday. Miami Dolphins go down 35-15. Joe, I love it. I absolutely love it. Good advice, Dan. No, it's true. It's true. Dan, you got a great show. Even if I don't always agree with you, I'm going to make a Bills YouTube page too. Do it, dude. Do it. Again, biggest piece of advice. Biggest piece of advice. Don't read comments. Unless, of course, it is a live chat, obviously. But don't. Way too many people are so obsessed with, oh my God, I'm going to get roasted on the internet for this take. So many people come up and be like, oh, Dan, you're getting roasted for that take. No, I'm not. What are you talking about? And so I need to read that in order to be roasted. And so why would I give negative people access to me? I don't. As far as I'm concerned, they are arguing with a wall. It's crazy. It's crazy. They are quite literally arguing with a wall because I'm sorry, pal, but like, so I'm not reading user 9,786 5-paragraph reasoning on why I'm an idiot, right? Like, come on, dude. Like, you're just wasting your time. It is what it is. Keep it real, Dan. We all have Bills fans, may not always agree, but should respect each other. We all want the same thing. Of course. It's true. It's true. During the preseason, most of the Bills content creators only wanted to talk about how good Keon was and Dion, and they also predicted bigger things. What happened? During the preseason, most of the Bills content creators only wanted to talk about how good Keon Coleman was, and Dion also predicted bigger things. So Keon had a great first game, but then like he just fell off of a cliff. Things like that happen, unfortunately. Bills versus Dolphins prediction score 56-27. Bills win. I love it. Bills fans have anxiety from postseason traumatic stress disorder. Chiefs game triggers it every single year. For sure. For sure, man. Go Bills, Austin, Texas. Jeffrey, what's going on, man? How you doing? Let me see. Josh is often called the Winter Soldier of King of the North. What should the nickname actually be? Read every comment. Just have balls instead of being known. But here's my argument. Who cares? Who cares if Brad, the guy that hasn't been able to get it up without Viagra for 15 years on his third marriage and second DUI, thinks that I'm a bitch? Like, why should that matter, right? Like, why should I matter? So why should that matter? Like, read every single comment. Like, give me a break. Like, give me a break, dude. Like, read each and every single one. No. Like, why would I do that? Sorry. Don't end this stream with the, yeah. Fake May incoming. It's coming in. You missed. Oh, my guy's coming in. What's up? We have Dat Boy. So our defensive line is key, and should we bring up Gabe? Thank you for the super chat, my friend. I appreciate that. D-line is indeed. It's still looking really good. And should we bring up Gabe? It's probably going to happen eventually. Statement in question. My prediction for Sunday's game, Bills win 45-10. Dan, what made you decide to get into doing online Bills sports analysis and commentary? Dude, love that, by the way. 45-10 is great. So I started off as a tech guy. I worked in the tech industry, right out of Silicon Valley. And then one day I just sort of made a YouTube video about the Buffalo Bills. It blew up. And then eventually I was able to make enough income to where I was making more money than that job. And I was like, oh, all right, well, then I guess I'm doing this full time, baby. Full time. I am doing it. And so I've only ever heard you speak the truth, Dan. You know how others talk is cheaper if they think the story is good. For sure. For sure, dude. Absolutely. It's not unusual to not read comments. It's pretty normal for content creators. Why would you want to read bottom of the barrel cesspool messages? And plus, like, guys, like, and so I really don't think like y'all understand like how many notifications I get. Like I get a lot, dude. Like a lot, especially on TikTok and Instagram. It's my DMs are crazy too. Like wild. And to be completely honest with you, like I don't even really run my Instagram. And so I have a company that posts everything for me and like handles that side of things. And so I don't even run it. so it's interesting. Read every comment comes from someone who had too much homework as a child or grew up under Mao. Read every comment. Yeah, dude. And so I can't. And so I can't physically read every single comment. Like that's insane. Keon is still 72nd in the league for wide receiver. There are 32 teams. And we got a lot of people that hate on Keon Coleman. Say that you base everything you do and say based on what others may think of you. You will be miserable all the time. You can't please everyone. Don't try. For sure. Dude, for sure. For sure. And like when you're getting into the content game, like, dude, like you're going to get haters. It's how it is. And so I have a lot of haters from Bills Mafia, dude. A lot of people from Bills Mafia don't rock with me, right? But that's when you know like you're going in the right direction, okay? Like just go on ahead and like just like search like Nick Wright, for example, or search Stephen A. Smith, or search Dan Orlovsky. Like, you just look at latest tweets from either of those names, you scroll down, 50% of the people are like, oh, he's an idiot, I hate that guy. Like, that's when you know, like, you're doing something. If nobody hates you, then you're not doing anything significant. Like, that's something I've always realized in my life. If nobody hates you, or if you have no enemies, then you're not doing anything of significance. Like, that's sort of how I've always operated. How long did it take for you to be able to do it full time? If you don't mind me asking, like 3 years. So I started in 2019, and then I kept my job, and then I was able to move it to full time in 2023. I think was the first year I was able to do it. Did the guy from the halftime ever get the Thurman Thomas helmet? He is still yet to reach out to me. And by the way, Carvin Jones, I'm going to the post office after this to send off your Keon Coleman helmet, by the way, which is great. So let's go back to the topic of the live feed and move on from the comment thing, please. And thank you. All right, Mike. And given the chance, I think Keon will surprise everyone. Go Bills. We have Diana. I hope so. And so I hope so, man. I've seen a lot of speculation that he might even be a part of a trade package. So he might even be a part of the trade package next season or next offseason. That's kind of where my thought process is. How much does Gabe Davis change this offense? Also, does he push Shavers off of the roster? Great question. I think he does. So I think that he pushes Shavers off. But so remember, so we get Gabe Davis 3 times from the practice squad. And once the playoffs come up, we can elevate him from the practice squad an unlimited amount of time. So I'm interested to see how Buffalo goes about this, right? I don't think that Gabe is going to be signed to the 53 immediately, because we have that option of being able to exclusively elevate him to said roster. That's kind of where I'm at. And Shavers would be off. Who is doing the solo fourth and forever today, Dan? It is TD Finstock, I believe. Bills are running 6 wide receivers this season, and Shavers earned that 6th spot as a wide receiver 6 and special teamer. What is the guy LaVisca Chenault up to these days since getting beat out by Shavers? Man, I wish Chenault was on this team, man. I wish he was. How much does Gabe Davis change this offense? Also, does he push Shavers off of the roster? So would Josh trust him? And yes, I do think that Shavers would be pushed off of the roster if Gabe Davis is back on the team. And remember, y'all used to hate Gabe and talk trash about him too. Oh my God. How can I get a signed Keon Coleman helmet? Well, first off, you can be a part of my giveaways on the channel, which is always exciting. Or like normally I get all the signed memorabilia from Pristine Auction. I just won a signed Khalil Shakir jersey, and I won a signed James Cook jersey, the red jerseys. And yes, I am going to be giving those away as well. Y'all know that I have weekly giveaways. This week is the Dalton Kincaid signed rookie card giveaway. Y'all know how to be a part of it. Must be a subscriber to the channel and just be a part of my Monday post-game recaps. Bills and Dolphins on Monday. I will be announcing the winners then. So that's where we're at. And so I agree that if Keon Coleman doesn't radically improve this season, he will be traded next year. Folks, don't count out Brian Thomas Jr. on this team next offseason either. Don't count out some of the players that being allegedly targeted this trade deadline to be on this roster next year, right? Like, that's what happens sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, so right before Stephon Diggs was traded over to the Buffalo Bills, so y'all remember that trade deadline before that offseason, there was rumors that Diggs may have been linked to Buffalo at the trade deadline. And that following offseason, what happened? Stephon Diggs is traded to the Buffalo Bills. So certainly keep a lookout for that, because right now, like, I really don't see a lot of very good receivers coming out of this draft. I'm certainly hoping that changes once I get to the Senior Bowl in February and I can come back and like actually see it for myself. But I feel like this draft class really is not that impressive in general. And that's really position wide, at least based off of the needs that Buffalo has. So I don't know. I've got to run. I hope everyone has a blessed day. You too, Cap. Thank you so much. We need to elevate Gabe to the roster so we can have an option of depth in the playoffs. Thank you so much. I agree. I don't see Keon going anywhere. He's a great contested catch guy, and he pulls interference penalties. I like it. I like it. All right, chat. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of the Dom Mafia Report, guys. I'm going to have a couple of some pre-record videos dropping today and tomorrow, and then Sunday, obviously, you will see me during my live play-by-play reaction. I ask each and every single one of you to hit that thumbs up sign. It's the easiest way to show love here. Subscribe and turn on bell notifications. I really hope you guys enjoyed the Q&A portion of the show. I'm probably going to make this more of a normal thing on Fridays probably. But regardless, love each and every single one of you. Shout out to my mods for always being able to keep the peace. Shout out to my regulars, and shout out to the newbies that just discovered this show. I hope to see you more often. All right, guys. Thank you so much.